Hello, and welcome to Look Good, Feel Better. I'm Alana Triai, and today I'm your host for this Feel Better session, and our topic today is loving the age you are. When I'm not hosting Feel Better sessions, I'm proud to volunteer for Look Good, Feel Better as a national workshop facilitator. I'm also a field executive for Clinique. Today's topic is all about the many changes that can affect our body as the years go by. And not only about how to accept them, but also how to embrace them wholeheartedly. I cannot think of anyone better to take us on this journey than the one, the only, Carmindy. But before we begin, I just wanted to quickly introduce you to the Look Good, Feel Better program. Look Good, Feel Better provides free workshops to people with cancer, and our goal is to help them to manage the appearance-related side effects of cancer treatment, to help improve their morale, and to really help them to face cancer with confidence. Professional beauty volunteers like myself provide lessons on skincare, nail care, cosmetics, wigs, turbans, head coverings, and also on accessories and styling. It is truly an honor to be a part of a program that provides not only incredible support and advice, but also helps to uplift the spirits of women going through the challenging circumstances of cancer treatment. Each and every smile that we can all help to create is beyond rewarding. And over the past 30 years, we have created over 2 million of those smiles across 27 countries around the world. Look Good, Feel Better sessions are always 100% free, and they're available to anyone that is undergoing cancer treatment. If you'd like more information or to share Look Good, Feel Better with someone that you know and love, please visit our website at www.lookgoodfeelbetter.org. One more quick note before I introduce our very special guest. We are so thrilled that as part of today's Feel Better session, Carmindy is offering a discovery size sample of her brand new fragrance, Wander Love, and it just dropped last week. Each time you donate $20 or more to Look Good, Feel Better during or after this session, your name will be entered into a drawing. Just simply click the donate button below or text Feel Good to 44321. That's Feel Good to 44321. Don't forget to include your email address because that's how we're going to notify all the winners at the end of the month. So let's go ahead and get started. Carmindy has been a professional makeup artist for over 25 years. She's painted faces in the studios of Paris, on the beaches of Brazil, and on the streets of Havana. You've seen her work not only in Elle, Cosmo, InStyle, O, Essence, Marie Claire, Glamour, and many more. She's also authored 4 best-selling beauty books. She's a public speaker on women's empowerment, and she's a regular guest on Good Morning America and The Today Show. Her line, Carmindy Beauty, is a streamlined collection full of beautiful color cosmetics for women of all ages and skin types. It's sold on carmindybeauty.com and on scentbeauty.com. For more than 10 years, millions of us, myself included, tuned in to TLC's hit show, What Not to Wear, where we enjoyed Carmindy's makeup transformations. It's not just her knowledge and her style that made those segments so special and so memorable. It's her true ability to connect with every woman, any woman who's lucky enough to get to spend time with her. Then, as in now, Carmindy teaches people how to see their unique beauty. And she also believes in stopping negative self-talk and helping women to celebrate themselves. Today, we are so lucky to spend some time with Carmindy. She has been a loyal supporter of Look Good, Feel Better and the women that we serve for many years. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce you to her. Hi, Carmindy. Thank you
Hi,
for joining us.
sweetheart. How are you, beautiful? Good to see you.
It's so great to see you.
This is so exciting. I'm such a huge supporter of Look Good, Feel Better. It's been the most amazing program. And so, yeah, it's a real honor to be here.
Carmindy, it is such a pleasure for us to have you with us here today. And I just wanted to start us off by asking you one simple question. Do
Yes.
you believe that age is really just a number?
Oh my God, 1,000%. Yes, age is just a number. I mean, that's what we're here to talk about today is loving the age that you are right now. I know 80-year-olds that act like they're 18, and I know 25-year-olds that act like they're 65. It's really all about what you think in your mind, the thoughts that you hold in your mind, and what you do for your body, your soul, your spirit. It's just a number. That's all it is. And so we really have to embrace that.
Carmindy, I could not agree with you more. So I know you have so much to share with us, including
I
a
do.
number of ways to help all of us love the age that we are and
Yes.
helping us to anticipate some of the changes that can happen over time. Can
Hmm.
you please tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we have to have a sense of humor about this first and foremost, because if we're lucky, we're all heading in the same direction, which is getting older. If we're lucky, and that's something that we need to really consider when we complain about seeing a wrinkle or, oh my gosh, I know girls that are freaking out that they're turning 30 or 40 or 50. That's a blessing. And we have to remember that getting older is a positive, beautiful thing, not something to feel shame over. And that's another thing, too, is women who are afraid to say their age, that brings shame upon it. Why shouldn't we celebrate the fact that we're older? It's a fantastic thing. And I think that's what's going to normalize ageism is when we just, love the fact that we are at the age we are right now, all the knowledge we learned, all the experiences that we had. And yeah, things are changing. And there's ways to adjust our beauty routines, our health routines to be able to complement that age. But at the end of the day, sense of humor, looking at life in a different way and letting go of the little stuff is really what's going to keep us young. So, I mean, I think that when it comes to beauty, because everybody comes to me for the beauty questions, there's about four main things that I like to think about when it comes to aging to help. Number one is that thinning hair and brows. That seems to be something that happens to most of us as we get older. Even if you have the thickest hair, right? It just tends to get thinner over time. I knew I was destined for that because I would look at my mother when she got older and she really, was losing her hair. So the few things that I like to do for thinning hair, thinning lashes, and thinning brows. Number one is collagen, daily collagen. If you can get collagen into your diet, even if you're vegan, if you're not, because they have marine grade collagen, they've got animal collagen. If you can put it in your tea and your powder and your smoothie, that's going to really help kind of keep the health and girth of your hair. There's lots of, hair supplements that's going to help with the growth of hair. I'm a huge fan. The reason why my lashes are actually long like they are, I don't know if you can see through my glasses, they were
They're
not like this.
beautiful.
They were stumps. But what happened is I started using the lash growth serums, and there's many out there to choose from. I then use those off label on my eyebrows to keep my eyebrows looking good. So these are a few things that you can do to really kind of help the hair, be restored as you get older. What I'd like you to stay away from is permanent hair extensions. It's okay to put clip-in hair extensions and wigs. That's great. But the tape-ins, the glue-ins, the braid-ins, that if you're already having thinning hair can damage your hair over time. So the temporary fixes are better. The wigs and the clip-ins, the scarves, all that works so much better because then the integrity of your hair is good. And be careful of permanent makeup. If your lash line looks thin, I have a friend that has alopecia, so she doesn't have lashes and brows. And she asked me, should I get the tattooing? And I told her no, because over time the tattoos fade. And once look brown or auburn, turns gray. And if you don't have somebody that's great or they sneeze while they're doing it's a recipe for disaster that's permanent and you can't change it. And also trends come and go. So say you've got your brows tattooed on and then all of a sudden, the trends change and you're stuck with them. So I always say use brow pencils that are waterproof just to fill them in. And you can use, the right mascaras. I tend to like for a thicker looking lash line using tube technology formulas because They're not as harsh on lashes as a waterproof mascara. They'll give you the length, the fullness, the volume, but it's easy to wash off with warm water. So that's my 2 cents about hair loss, because it
That's
does happen.
so many great tips there. And I love that you shared with us not only what to do, but also what not to do. I think that's so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, it is because, like I said, I know this from experience. I am your guinea pig. I try everything on myself first before I tell you what to do or not to do. I'm not just sitting there going, oh, this is great. Let's just tell everyone. So I had the tape in extensions. I was on television all the time. I left them in. During lockdown, I couldn't have them redone. I took them out and it really damaged the hair. And it took me the last 2 years of taking the right supplements to have an increased hair growth situation from the damage that I had done. So yeah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Um, Another thing I think that happens with age, especially me, is drier skin. We get drier skin as we get older. Now you pair that with people that are going through cancer treatments. So if you're getting older, say you're in menopause and you're getting cancer treatments, your skin texture changes. So you just have to rethink what you're putting on your skin. If you used to be a gel cleanser girl, it's time for a creamy cleanser. If you used to be a lotion lady, it's time to up it to more of a heavy, thick cream. This is going to restore more hydration, more moisture into your skin. And you want to look for ingredients like hyaluronic acid. That's something that actually plumps up the skin. And then the younger kids are calling this on TikTok. What was the word? Slugging. Have you heard about this?
Slugging, yes.
Slugging.
Layering on so much that you've got that shiny appearance.
You got the shiny parrots. So I talked to a scientist, a skin scientist. He's a stem cell scientist. And I said, talk to me about this slugging from a scientific perspective. And he goes, well, they're doing it for different reasons. He says, but if you put on, if you use your creamy cleanser and then you put on your nice serums for hydration and anti-aging, what you can do is then seal it on top by using a thick cream moisturizer. And essentially what that's doing is it's creating a barrier that's locking in that moisture. So yeah, slugging kind of, but that's the scientific reason for doing it. And so I thought that was interesting. So I try to do that at night. So I'll put on all my stuff and then I make sure that I put on a nice thicker layer of cream, more than I normally would, and then sleep in it. So when I wake up, I don't have that dry skin. Also, you want to stay away from toners if your skin's starting to get drier, because if you have the right cleanser, you don't need the toner. That's something that I would avoid. And then also important is put a humidifier in your room. Have you ever noticed that your skin always looks better when you go on a tropical vacation because of the humidity? Your hair might
Totally.
freak out, but your skin looks good.
So
So
true.
add a humidifier in your room, and that's really going to help with dryness on the skin. And always keep a lip balm next to your bed. Huge.
That is such a good tip. I started doing that in the past couple of years and
Yeah,
just nice little reminder before I go to bed to just put some on and sleep in
yeah,
it.
yeah. And hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So important. Lots and lots of water. And I know we all know this, but we don't do it. We say, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'm going to drink like 8-ounce glasses." Make sure you fill, a glass constantly, have it next to your bed, have it everywhere, have bottles of water everywhere, and just keep hydrating because it's important. And also good, healthy fats. Eating things like avocado and seed butters is really important. Olive oils, all those things that you actually ingest can kind of moisturize from the inside out. So that's really, really key. Let's see what else. Makeup. That's another thing. As we age, yes, we do need to change our makeup routines. So I'm going to start first and foremost with something that I'm currently obsessed with, which is dermaplaning. Have you tried that?
I never have, but I have been super curious. So I would love to hear your thoughts about dermaplaning.
It's great. It's great for many reasons. So essentially, is it like shaving your face? Yeah, kind of, which seems weird. But what happens, especially as we get older, because I know a lot of you guys have like the crazy witch hair that just pops out overnight on your chin, or like, a wild one that goes this way. Peach fuzz just gets denser and denser. When you have hairs on your face that tend to grow as we get older, weird, it happens. We all have it. Also, we tend to get dry, dead skin cells on our skin. So dermaplaning, you can go to a salon or a spa or a facialist or a dermatologist and get dermaplaning, but you don't have to spend that money because easily you can find it on other, online. You can find at-home dermaplaning kits, and you're very careful. And what this does is when you use it, it eliminates the peach fuzz or the wild crazy hairs that just pop up overnight. It also gets rid of just that little layer of dead skin cells, so your skin looks nice and smooth. So that's what I would like you to start with. Try that out. I tend to do mine about once a week. And this allows your skin to then be so nice and smooth that anything you put on cosmetically is going to lay on it lovely. Because if you put a foundation or a powder on top of peach fuzz or hair or dead skin cells, it looks drier or it settles into the lines, right? If you start with a smooth surface, it's going to glide on much better. So the first thing that I like women that are older to do is use a illuminating, hydrating skin cream. So whether that's a primer or, something that goes underneath your makeup after your moisturizer that has a little bit of luminosity. And when I say luminosity, I mean something that's glowy, not glittery. We don't want to go to glitter as we age. Glitter is going to settle into the fine lines. It's going to accentuate them, but that doesn't mean we don't want a glow. You want to shimmer, but make sure that shimmer looks opalescent. Do you know the difference? The way that I like to test it, if you go into a makeup store, you can swatch glitter next to a shimmer, and you go outside, and if you see little square chunks, that means it's glitter. Not going to work. But if it just looks like almost like an oil and water effect, like a pearly glow,
Nice and
that's what you're
smooth.
looking for. Yeah, smooth. You want smooth. So that's always first. When it comes to your foundations, no more powder foundations. And I know a lot of you are like, oh, but I've been stuck on my powder foundation all my life. Get rid of it. Powders are kind of the enemy in some ways when it comes to makeup as we age. Powder foundation, enemy. And the reason why is powders will settle in to fine lines. Thick, opaque, heavy makeup is going to be an enemy because even though we have more to cover as we age, veins are popping out, rosacea is happening, dark spots, dark under eye circles. Packing on foundation is not going to do you any favors. What you're looking for is a thinner, light to medium coverage that you can build on that mimics the skin's texture. So that's really, really key. If you of course, setting powder is important, but instead of loose powders that fly all over and that are pigmented, when you put that on your skin to set your foundation, that's going to add extra layers. So look for blotting paper style face powder. So they usually come in compacts. It's like blotting paper in powder form. They're invisible. They erase shine, they set your makeup, but they don't leave a dusty trace. Very key.
Carmindy, sometimes people ask me about cream to powder foundations. How do you feel about
Yes.
those?
Again, if they dry to a powder, it's what happens throughout the day. You go 6 hours in, 8 hours in, you look in the mirror and it's become the powder. And if we're older and we have wrinkles and we're smiling and laughing and having any facial expressions, that's not going to work. So again, I think that going with more of a creamy foundation liquid, not a thick cream, not like a concealer cream, but more of a liquid, something that comes out of a pump or a squeeze tube, that's what you're going to look for, because it's about polishing our beauty, not painting over it, not covering it up. Because listen, it's going to move. You want something that moves with you. So I think that's really, really key. Be careful of cream eyeshadows, because the one area where we tend to age the quickest is our eyelids. They're not as bouncy as they once were, so they tend to get crepey first. So what happens with cream shadows is that if you put it on the lid over time, your natural oils will mix with that. So that's when powders are good. But instead of putting on a whole layer of highlight and then a whole layer of lid shade and then a whole layer of contour shade, strategically place it. Put your highlighters on, put your shading on, put your mid-tone on, keep it in the areas, blend it all together, you're good to go. So that's really key, is to use powders, not creams, on the eyes, but strategically placed, don't layer. Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense. I know I'm turning 40 next month, so you are really encouraging me to embrace that. And the eye area is the first place that I have started to notice some changes.
Right? Yeah, and when it comes to eyeliner, make sure you use a waterproof eyeliner, because our lids tend to change location, right? So we used to all have these like perky little lids, and now when you put it on, it transfers. Well, if you put on a waterproof liner first, let it dry, you open your eyes, you don't get the transfer. So that's really important. And then also, when it comes to concealers, those thick pot concealers tend to settle into wrinkles. So I would look for more sheer concealers and use them for under eyes, one shade lighter than your foundation to brighten your eyes. And then if you're covering a spot, you use it on top of your foundation. So you put your foundation on first, because chances are you've already concealed enough and you need less concealer. And then just use concealer the same shade, but just a little heavier right on certain spots, and voila, less makeup, more impact.
You just
Important.
made me feel so good, because that's how I conceal. I like to do
Oh,
foundation
good.
first, and then
Good.
whatever's still standing out a little bit, then I'll do a little concealer.
Good. Yeah, it's so important to do it that way, because I see so many people, and I'm sure all you guys do when you're looking at these crazy tutorials where it's like concealer, 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 like contour, foundation, baking. Oh my God, you can't do that as we get older. I'm sorry, you could do that when you're 25 maybe, but not when you're 50 or 60. Like, it's just not going to work. It's going to be so obvious. Um, that leads us into probably the most important thing about loving the age that you are right now. It it comes to body and mind. This is huge. This is where I think I have done the most work over the last 5 years, is in body and mind. So what that means is stress. Obviously, stress levels rise as we get older. I mean, unfortunately, because the current state of the world, everybody's really stressed out. But especially as we get older, we tend to skew higher on anxiety scales, right? Like, we worry a little bit more. We might have children we're worried about, or relationships, or businesses, or like things are just a little bit more intense. And I have found that having a practice, no matter what that is, whether it's religion, spirituality, meditation, deep breathing, long walks in nature, whatever it is, you have to have a practice that takes you out of your day to day. You have to do it. It's so, so important. It's very, very key. For me, it's breathwork meditation, and being outdoors as often as I can. That's why I'm addicted to travel, and swimming in the ocean is important to me. But even listening to music that's more zen, not popular pop music, but just some zen music when you're cooking breakfast or getting ready in the morning or about to go to sleep, you put something on, and it's a way to kind of detach and settle the nerves. This is really, really important. Um, Also for the mind, be curious, stay curious, because if you're not learning, if you're not experiencing new things, you stop growing. We have to continue growing. That's what keeps us young, is that young mentality of excitement, newness, learning, knowledge. Like, I mean, I'm always reading a new book. I've got actually three going on at once. I'm always interested in something I haven't tried before, take a class, go to just randomly go do something that you would normally not do, even if you think you're into it or not, because you never know what kind of experience that's going to bring to you, or the people that you might meet through it. So I think for mind, that's important. Body, to stay young, weight training, believe it or not, is probably the most important thing you can do once you start getting older. Because we really don't think about it when we're young. When we're young, we're running around, or we'll go to classes, or we'll do yoga, or we'll do cardio, cardio, cardio. We really don't think about weight training, but it's so important to help the bones, and osteoporosis later in life. It gives you so much energy. Our metabolism starts to slow down as we age. The only way to really gear that up naturally is to make sure that we have muscle tone. And I'm not saying that you have to be at the gym every single day. Just incorporate once, twice, 3 times a week into your life, even if it's 30 minutes, a little bit of weight training. It's important for longevity. Because the women that I know are in their 70s and 80s and they are healthy as can be and living their best lives, incorporated weight training into their lifestyle. So I think that's really, really huge. And the last, I think, really important thing for loving the ages, we're going to talk about the big dirty M word, which should not be a dirty word anymore, which is menopause, because we are clueless. Nobody's really addressed menopause in a normal way because we heard about it, but we're like, oh, just old ladies get menopause. Well, I'm full-blown menopause, right? And Stacey London from What Not to Wear is in menopause and actually owns a menopause company now. And we've started communicating in a different way. I mean, it used to be like, don't wear that and put on lip gloss. And now we're talking about how to deal with menopausal symptoms. So, and again, like I said, if you're going through any sort of cancer treatment topped on being in menopause, you're dealing with a lot. So I have found, through hot flashes and mood swings and drier skin and losing hair and sleepless nights, some things that are must-haves. One of them are cooling sprays. You can make your own. You can put cucumber and water, stick it in the refrigerator, and then put it next to your bedside table at night and spritz it when you have a hot flash. They have cooling sprays. I know Stacey has cooling sprays on her site. Get a cooling spray that's going to just take down that moment, because when you're on fire, because it happens like a race car, it just shows up and you're going and you're sweating. There's nothing better than just that cooling moment. A fan, whether it's a handheld fan or an electric fan, throw it in your bag, have it in your car. Very important. They have cooling pillows that you can use to sleep on. I just discovered one that I really like. So it just keeps you cool throughout the night. Again, hair loss, which is a sign of menopause. So the supplements are key. And then I find eating well, getting rid of as much sugar and processed foods in your diet when you're in menopause is going to be key, because our metabolism grinds to a halt. And we're like, oh, how do we keep this going? So not just exercise and walking, but this is where you have to clean up your diet the most. You really do. It's not saying that it's for losing weight, it's to feeling good. Because I see when I overeat junk, my menopausal systems get worse. When I'm eating clean and healthy, I have less of those menopausal symptoms. And I mean, it makes perfect sense. It's because you're feeding your body the right fuel. And so things kind of chill out and mellow out. Again, waterproof makeup for menopause, for sweats. And then I also found that infrared sauna. Have you ever done that?
No.
Infrared sauna is amazing. So I tend to go to higher dose. My friend owns this company and they have saunas and sauna wraps and blankets. But what infrared technology does when it comes to a sauna is not only is it stimulating kind of like getting your blood flowing. It's like a sauna, it's a sauna, but it relaxes you. It makes you feel good. It just kind of, you're sweating out stuff. It's a way to kind of make you just feel so much more enlightened and good. And again, helps with sleep. Sleeping is another thing that I think in menopause is really difficult. So I like all the chill pills, not narcotics. I'm talking about like magnesium or melatonin or, CBD, things that are just like going to kind of ease that stress and pressure from a natural organic perspective.
Magnesium has helped me a lot. That was something I
Yeah.
discovered in the past couple of years. And then like Epsom salt baths and
Yes.
things like that. So I'm
Yes.
gonna have to try the infrared sauna.
Yeah, you're gonna love the infrared sauna. It's a game changer. It really is. But yeah, it's soothing self-care. You have to do that as we get older.
Oh, I love that. Soothing self-care.
Yeah.
Carmindy, all of that was amazing. And I know that you've inspired me to think a lot differently. And I've wrote down some things that I'm definitely going to try.
Good.
Very often, many of us can get stuck sometimes in a negative place,
Yeah.
especially when we experience what really are only natural changes.
Yeah.
We know that knowledge is power. You've given us tons of great tips, and understanding why and how our bodies change and also having the tools to manage those changes to feel in control
Yeah.
is important.
Yes.
And our community has submitted some questions ahead of time for you.
Great.
Can I go ahead and
Good.
ask you a couple of them?
Yes, absolutely.
How has your own beauty routine changed, Carmindy, as you've matured? And might I add, beautifully.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, for me, I would definitely say that my skin had gotten much drier. So I had to up my skincare game and start using thicker, richer moisturizers, eye creams, things to that nature. Again, like I said earlier, my hair started thinning a lot. So in with the supplements, I find the infrared sauna. I have an infrared sauna blanket that I have at home that helps with sleep. The breathwork meditation changed my game, and then the weightlifting. So, I mean, since lockdown, which was what was it 2 years ago already? When was like the big, yeah, it was like 2 years ago.
2 years. Yeah.
That's when I decided to get really clean with my diet and my health routine. And I've seen such a difference. I've seen a difference not only in my skin, but my sleep, my overall energy. So that's really key. And it also, you know, inspired me that whatever cosmetics I create for everybody else, I want to make sure that they're ageless, because at a moment I saw myself getting aged out when all the young 18-year-old influencers were getting all the action instead of the expert with 30 years of experience. I just, I'm 51 years old. I started doing makeup at 15. And so what I needed to do is kind of learn what women at different stages of life are going through. And I wanted to create a makeup line that worked for everybody at all ages, at every stage of their life, to enhance their natural beauty. So, because as I saw myself change, my skin change, I have a TikTok video. I don't know if you saw. It's got over 2 million views. It's like 2.6 million views, where I call it a gravity facelift, because I was looking at my phone and I accidentally took a photo and I saw what that looked like. And then I just put my face up and took a photo and like, oh, it's normal. So I did a little video, and it's like, I made it funny. You have to have a sense of humor when we get old. Like, it's going to happen. So make it fun, make it funny, and stop caring so much, because like I said in the first top of this, it's a blessing that we're getting older.
I could not agree with you more. And I did see your TikTok video and I loved it and I cracked up. My friends and I would always do this thing in elevators. We look up in the elevator and you're like, oh, it looks so different. So
right. It's so funny.
I love that.
You gotta laugh.
Carmindy, people in our community would also love to know what the most asked aging related question you receive is.
Under eyes. Under eyes, under eyes, under eyes. I have dark circles. I have puff. I have loose skin. I have wrinkles. It's always an under eye question, because it's actually the first place that I think we really see the signs of aging. Unfortunately, nowadays, younger and younger girls are more concerned, and I think that they need to relax and just wait, because ladies is just going to increase over time. So I always say to so many of the young girls that I talk to, listen, when you're 90 years old, sitting in a rocking chair, looking back at your 25-year-old self going, why was I complaining? I should have been celebrating. And that's the truth. So here's the thing when it comes to under eyes. Obviously, sunscreen is key for helping the signs of aging. And in the old days, we didn't have sunscreen for under the eyes, so we'd get sunscreen in our eyes and they would burn. But now they make sunscreen for eye areas, so that's key. I would say that for puffiness, I drink dandelion root tea for bloat. This is a natural, organic, natural diuretic. It's a tea, dandelion root tea. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, but what happens is that it really helps if you have puffy eyes or if you have allergy eyes. I make it iced, and I drink iced dandelion root tea. And it's a really good way to help with puffiness. Keeping your eye creams and serums in the refrigerator, so when you apply them, they're cold. That helps with puffiness. Dark circles. Dark circles can be, it's more complicated. It could be genetic. If it's fully genetic and you just have a type of skin that has kind of veins underneath or blue tone underneath that's genetic. That's what concealers are for. Like it is what it is. But there's a lot of vitamin C serums, vitamin K serums that you can put on to help for the under eye circles. But more often than not, it's a genetic thing and it's just a concealer fix. And then for wrinkles, you want to make sure that you're using a little bit of a glycolic when you're younger, maybe a little retinol, and it's going to get a little flaky and peely, but make sure that you use that and it'll slough off the dead skin cells so your wrinkles will look less noticeable.
Those retinol uglies are worth it, right? When you get through
Yes.
it.
Yes. It's like at first you're like, what did I do to myself? And then you have baby skin, but then you have to use tons and tons of sunscreen and hats and glasses, umbrellas. Like, don't get out in the sun.
We've talked a little bit about birthdays and the blessing that aging is, Carmindy. Do you have any specific tips as women kind of hit some of those milestones, turning 30, 40, 50, or 60 that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, I think most importantly is never be ashamed. Like I said before, never be ashamed to say the age that you are, because that is making it not okay to get older and to be who you truly are. And I think that is a very old narrative that we were taught from years and years. Never ask a woman's age. No, now we should be shouting it to the rooftops and be proud. And we need to set the tone for the next generation. So that's really key. Women, I think in their 20s and 30s, that's when you really want to be diligent about sunscreen and skincare, for sure. Women in their 40s need to manage their stress levels because stress will age you quicker than anything. And it seems to be 30s, 40s is when you're at your almost most stressed state. That's when you've got kids, you're maybe going through divorces, career changes. Like it seems to be, at least in my life, that's where probably my most stressed out state is the 40s area. So managing stress through a meditation practice, a spiritual practice, and an exercise practice, that's very, very key. 50s, it's about real health, nutrition, and mental calmness. We get into the 50s and we start and you have to have a sense of humor. We start laughing about things a little bit more. We don't care about the small stuff. There is a freedom in the 50s. And then by the time you're in your 60s, you should be owning it and having the time of your life. And in your 60s, you've kind of created your signature look, right? Because it's like, what have I learned along the way? What is true to me? I am at an age now where I am not afraid to say it. I don't care what people think anymore. And that's when you see these wonderful women. Somebody will walk in with like gray hair and silver bangles, or like a bright, bold red lip, and, or a caftan. Like you kind of create your signature style from 60 onward, which is something to look forward to because there's a freedom in it. A beautiful freedom. I know that when I turned 50, something shifted in me where the anxiety just kind of melted away. And it's because I look back and I don't look at things in the past like bad things. They're all lessons. So look at your every stage like a lesson, and every wrinkle, there's a reason, there's a smile behind it, or even pain behind it. But that pain brought you to who you are today. So you have to look at it like that.
Oh my gosh, Carmindy, you just gave me goosebumps. We want to thank you so much. This has been not only so informative, but also so fun. I know I personally have learned a lot. I'm going to get in an infrared sauna, dandelion tea, dermaplaning.
Yes.
So exciting.
So
On
good.
behalf of the entire Look Good, Feel Better family, we are so grateful to you for sharing your time and your insights with us, and for being such a longtime supporter of Look Good, Feel Better and our mission.
Always will be.
Oh, we're so glad. We're so lucky and fortunate to have you.
Thank you.
We want to thank everyone who has joined us today, and we know and hope that this has been time well spent. Just a quick reminder, don't forget, each time you donate $20 to Look Good, Feel Better, your name is going to be entered into the drawing for Carmindy's new Wander Love fragrance.
Ooh, yes.
Oh, all you need to do is click the button or text Feel Good to 44321. Don't forget to include your email address so we can notify the winner at the end of the month. I know I can't wait to smell Wander Love myself since it just dropped. Finally, a shout out to our lineup of Look Good, Feel Better month sponsors. This includes Carmindy Beauty, Clinique, Emmy, Halo 42, author Jamie Gold, Philip Kingsley, and Beauty by Rudy. Thanks so much, Carmindy. It's been such a pleasure to get to connect with you today.
So fun, my beautiful friend. Thank you.